Good evening, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about managing negative emotions and mastering positive emotions for good self management. I would like to start with what is the understanding of good self management? What is good self management? Good self management means remaining happy, in a cheerful state, able to positively influence people or decisions or actions taken, becoming successful in handling situations, leading people, organizations, etc. etc. Now, it's though simple is as simple to say that just remaining happy in a cheerful state, able to positively influence people, decisions or actions taken, becoming successful in handling situations, leading people, organizations. But an individual, a person taking care of these have to pass through several challenges, and the challenges are many. Challenges are many. What are the challenges? Challenges are problems of networking, entering into successful or productive collaborations, leading people, groups, oblique teams, organizations, managing power politics conflicts, shaping organizations' political dynamics. In the course of steering through these, or in the course of managing organizations, managing resources, lot of these things come, and not only these, many others. The moment in, there is an interface, the moment there is an interface, some kind of an interface between one and the other, interface between one and the other, what happens? The descent is a normal descent is a normal natural phenomenon. With descent, what happens? With descent, agreeableness or non-agreeableness. Agreeableness creates a positive emotion. Non-agreeableness creates a negative emotions. Now it depends whether the person is in a position of power. A person is a position of power. Positive emotions are comforting, and a person in position of power, negative emotions are discomforting. Similarly, there could be some who may not be in the position of power. Individuals in the position of power and not in the position of power. In position of power. Positive emotions, comforting. Negative emotions, discomforting. Now, every individual has got certain expectations, certain values, certain principles, and one is moving with that. It comes the question of sacrificing those values, etc. Things like that. Now, if a person in position has to sacrifice the values, it's a difficult task, and the person similarly not in power, again where the negative emotions are coming up, where the negative emotions are coming up, that's again some kind of a sacrifices has to be done. In terms of adjusting, in terms of accommodating, in terms of listening, whatever. Now, the moment these sacrifices are to be done, it depends on the individual. The rigidity may be observed, flexibility may be observed. Where rigidity is observed, again, rigidity is observed, again, a discomforting situation. Again, a discomforting situation. Because rigid means sticking to the stand, whatever it is, whether the positive emotions are generated or the negative emotions are generated, irrespective of. It also may happen that for some individuals, the positive emotions are generated, and for some individuals, negative emotions are generated in the same system. Now, with this, any individual who is involved in managing or working or leading, managing the emotion becomes a highly challenging job. How do you manage the child? How do you do that management? Through developing good self management practices. Good self management practices means what it requires is managing own rigidity rigidities. Managing own rigidities means becoming that means becoming more flexible. Flexible on what all accounts? If we look at the flexibility, the areas on which the flexibility is to be done, then different have to be managed differently. What different kinds of behavior? What different kinds of behavior? So, identification of different kinds of behaviors that requires to be managed with flexibility is to be done. Now, when it comes to what different kinds of behavior, behavior is a function of person in relation to various situations, and one or the other act give rise to some of the other kind of emotions. Let us look at the various influence roles. Supportive behavior, it will generate positive emotion. Rescuing behavior, immediately positive emotions, but in long term will give rise to negative emotions. Task obsessions will give rise to various stresses, strains. Sulking behavior, delaying things that one doesn't like, again giving lot of negative emotions. Now, in all these situations, there are two significant actors. One is the self and other is the other ones. What kind of flexibility is needed to manage different kinds of positive and negative emotions? As understanding own emotional problems and learning to manage them effectively. Listening to others and being open to change and act with flexibility. Identifying the various in self and uncertainties it can give to others. Mastering the right coping styles. Moving from being reactive to responsive, focusing on more important mega goals. So these become the 6 steps for good self management. The triggers, the challenges are thrown up in the environment by the environment, and the management of that has to be done by managing the self in a better way. So, the first step when you say understanding own emotional problems and learning to manage them effectively. So, the own emotional problems are understanding own emotional problems are key to managing things in a better way, so that the emotions, the negative emotions likely to be generated are subsided and they are settled, and the emotional charges do not create a problem. For short while, it could be like even diffusing the situations. Now, own emotional. Now, my emotions are such that I fail to understand the emotional problems of others and of the situations. In that case, I will definitely be ineffective. So, what is important is that with a positive mind, without reacting, act, not react. Be positive, understand the things, and work in a proper way. Listening to others and being open to change and act with flexibility. This listening is very important, and in a completely unbiased way. Half of the problems may get solved with the by listening to the people and change where it is needed. Then various uncertainties are created. Uncertainties sometimes in the self, and uncertainties sometimes in the others. Now, uncertainty is something which which creates some kind of a fear. Now, fear, if you look at fear, then fear is to be managed. The moment there is a fear, the negative mind gets negatively activated, as has been mentioned in the first video. And the moment the mind is become negatively activated, then negative actions like violence, aggressiveness, reactions will come, and that has to be managed. So the moment when there is an issue that either I have done something and my position has become uncertain, there are certain things which has become uncertain for me, and there are certain things I am creating uncertainty for others. So neither we manage the uncertainties that is coming in front of you, and manage the and do not create an uncertainty for others. The moment you create an uncertainty for others, then again the environment will become difficult and emotional charges will come, and it will affect the person, it will affect me only. Once it affects me adversely, then it's a poor good management, and it will rob the peace of my mind. And so therefore fear has to be managed, and once the fear is managed, then the mind has moved from negatively activated state to the positively activated state. Now, mastering the right coping styles. When it comes to mastering the right coping styles, see, there are 5 styles. One is avoid. Avoid means a problem has come, a situation has arisen, some kinds of conflicts are there, avoid. Now, second one is, see, this is known as avoidant coping. Emotional coping. Emotional coping is moving into the feeling thinking cycle. Third is palliative coping. That is preventing entry of negative thoughts into the mind. Fourth is social coping. Going to people, talking about it, and again there is a burnout of energy and lot of negative emotions coming up. Fifth is problem solving focused. We focus on the problem and then solve the problem and then manage things. So this is what is managing the right coping style. Now, avoidant coping, this is going to be creating a negative. Emotional coping, this will again lot of negative stress strains will create. Palliative coping is preventing entry of negative thoughts into the mind, but finally the negative things will get into it. Social coping creates a negative environment. So 1, 2, 3, 4, they are dysfunctional coping styles of stress, and these should be avoided. What is important is that we focus on this problem solving focused, solve the problems and ease the environment and do better things. When we do this, then we are able to move from being reactive to responsive, because the focus is solving the problem. Focus is solving the problem, and we are moving from reactive to responsive and focusing more on more important goals. Now, how do you move from a reactive state to a positive, to a responsive state? If we will refer to yesterday's action response adjustment reaction cycle, adjustment reaction cycle, and let us say a stage has come of being reactive. I am reactive, other one is reactive, and the process going on is action reaction. An unending phenomenon, and which will give rise to a lot of burnout of energy and a steep drop in the productivity, efficiency, effectiveness. So what is to be done? We have to shift from this reactive kind of a situation, stop own reactions and manage others' reactions. So it is stop own reactions, and manage others' reaction. In the first place, one has to stop this and then manage own reactive processes, and then only go for managing the others' reactions and arrive at win-win kind of a situation. In that process, lot of adjustments have to be made. So from reactive, move towards this, have little bit of adjustment, then become responsive, and then the outputs will come. Outputs will come from positive actions. So managing reaction of any kind is definitely, you need to first understand one's own reactive processes, that means the negative emotions. We must understand that negative emotions are going to be harmful and damaging, and so they have to be managed. And once over a period of time, once by practicing these, positive emotions have started developing, then cultivate that, cultivate the positive emotions, nurture positive emotions, strengthen positive emotions, and manage yourself in a good way. That is good self management. Thank you.